Guzman from Homestead. How long have you been living in Homestead?
Grant, thanks for having me. I've been in Homestead over 40 years.
And how old are you?
44.
So where were you born?
Jersey City, New Jersey.
And then you moved down here at 4 years old.
Yep.
Your parents came down. Your mother came down. Talk about your history.
So yeah, my parents came down. They were looking for an economical place to live. At that time, the property values in Homestead were just about $35,000 to buy a house. So my parents bought a house in Homestead, and we've been here ever since. Back then, it was just a bunch of fields. You know, it wasn't the growth that we see today, but it's been a great upbringing.
So the reason I have Julio on the show is because he's considering, or for sure, running for.
For sure, 100%, for sure.
For commissioner, is it commissioner or councilman?
Councilman.
Councilman of Homestead.
That's right.
And Homestead is how old is Homestead?
Homestead is the oldest city in Miami-Dade County. So that goes back a long way.
Wow. It's 105, 110 years old.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Years and years ago, there was only one bank down there, and 60 years ago.
Yeah.
It was another world. And when you moved down there 40 some odd years ago, right?
Right.
It was completely different.
No, and sometimes you see the like at the Main Street Museum, and you go in there and you see the history, the way Chrome Avenue used to be. Amazing black and white pictures. Beautiful.
Homestead has, I remember there was a rodeo every February.
Right.
And every February, my parents used to take me to the rodeo for my birthday and the friends. My father and mom must have got a discount. I couldn't stand it every year at a Homestead. What are we doing for Grant's birthday? Homestead Rodeo. We went there last year.
It's a big event. I was surprised to see that they weren't having it this year. Well, with COVID, a lot of that stuff has been canceled, but it's a signature event for the city of Homestead, and it's a really good one down there as well.
So let's keep talking about, because people in Homestead want to know your history, about why you're running. Who are you? So you went to elementary school where?
Campbell Drive Elementary.
Campbell Drive.
And I went to Campbell Drive Middle, and I went to Homestead Senior High.
Homestead Senior High.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your favorite? Do you remember any of your teachers from elementary school?
Miss Melvin. She was a music teacher.
Okay. You play instruments?
Nope.
Oh. Middle school or junior high?
Mr.
Whatever.
White.
High school.
That one I can't remember too much, because that was the hurricane time. Then I transferred schools and I went to Gables High School. So I don't quite remember.
Senior.
As a junior.
And you played what sports at Gables?
I played both football and baseball.
Who was your baseball coach at Gables?
Coach Biseglia.
Coach Biz, baby.
Coach Biz.
Now, I'm good friends with Biz. I don't know if you know that.
Okay, cool. He's a great guy.
He is one person that can talk longer with a breath of air than anybody I know. Right?
That's right.
Coach
That's
Biz,
right.
you can't help but love the guy because he was teaching about life.
That's right. He gave us good life lessons.
Yeah. So football, who'd you play with in the Gables?
I played with Noah Wilbanks. No, that's a Carson Newman. Sorry. I played
Gables.
with Cedric Cherry, which was my roommate at Carson Newman College. Big shout out to Cedric Cherry as well.
Okay.
He was a receiver. Awesome.
Okay,
awesome.
Who else you played at Gables?
Ron Howard.
Okay.
Ron Howard, Jason Barquette.
Ron Howard's real good in football.
Yeah. There was a lot of great players there. A lot of great players at Gables High.
Now, how old are you again?
44.
So I coached at the boys club in the 70s. So a lot of these kids you might have played with, I think they're older than you.
Good.
So yeah, great experience. Where did you live up here?
We lived over in the northwest side of 27th Avenue. And I would commute to the Gables until our house was reconstructed in Homestead. And then I had a commute, from Homestead to the Gables, because they had such great sports there that I wanted to finish my high school career there. And then it opened up some doors, and I was able to go on to college and play at Carson Newman College.
So you went to college where?
Tennessee, Jefferson City, Tennessee, Carson Newman College, which is Carson Newman University now.
So let's talk about your friends, your roommates, your football players from Miami.
Yeah, they had a pretty big melting pot in.
That was a religious Christian school?
It is. It's a Christian school. And they would always do well in football. And I think it's because they pulled a lot of players from Miami. So let's say some of the players didn't get a chance to go to these D1 schools for whatever reason, even though they were well equipped to go to D1 schools. Somehow Carson Newman College would pick up these athletes,
right?
And they would always excel in football. So there was a huge Miami population in terms of sports at Carson Newman College, which made it very easy for us not to be as homesick as we would normally be because a lot of people were from Miami there. Like I said, my roommate was Cedric Cherry, awesome guy. We had a blast in college, and we played sports, and we got good grades, and we did everything, the way it was supposed to be done.
Carson Newman has a great reputation.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Noel Banks.
Yeah.
You met him. Did you know him down south, or did you know him in college?
In college. And when we met in college, just super great connection. We played special teams together. He was the hype man. He was the guy that got you ready to get out there and just give it your all. And he was always good to have around because if you were down, he'd lift you up immediately to get ready for that game.
Isn't it crazy? You're in Tennessee, and when you both grew up in South Dade, blocks away from each other.
Yeah. That's exactly how it is.
All right. So did you graduate college?
I did. I graduated at FIU, actually.
Okay. So your senior year, you got drafted.
My junior year, I got drafted out of Carson Newman College, and I elected to go play baseball with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then I had my career with Diamondbacks, and I came back home. I got released, and I came back home, and I went and finished college at FIU.
Okay, and then you moved back when you finished college. You moved back after Arizona. You moved back to Homestead.
Yeah, moved back to Homestead. But while I came to FIU, I stayed on campus at FIU, finished there. Then I went back to live at home in Homestead, and that's how I kind of started my career as a real estate broker.
Okay, before we get into details about Homestead, why you fit mentally, physically to be a councilman of Homestead? Because it's a tough job.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, I'll tell you. First, you gotta love where you live. You gotta love your city, and I want to see my city progress. I have a family. I got a beautiful wife. I've got 3 kids. And I want to make sure that they're growing up in an environment that is, not only do they have great education, but they have great amenities. There's a lot of good parks, a lot of good green space. Kids can play little league ball, little league football. A lot of the things that I had, I want them to have the same. So, when you think about growing up in Homestead, you want to do your part. And I want to do my part to make sure that all of the things that we can make Homestead the best city to live in. The previous administration and the current administration, they've done excellent work with all of the growth Homestead has recently had. So we don't want to, especially with this pandemic, we don't want to let, what they've already created go to waste. We don't want to see people without jobs. We don't want to see, vacant spaces. We want to see a thriving community.
In the last couple of years, before the virus, you had a new movie theater come in.
Yes.
A lot of new things have happened.
New movie theater, new police station, new city hall. I mean, an explosion of growth, tons of residential development. Homestead is growing at an astronomical rate. So now we want to have smart growth, and we want to attract businesses. We want people to have higher paying jobs. We don't want people to have to commute, to Miami to work. We want people to, live, work, and play down there.
So during your time when you're 40 years ago, when the base was up and running, now it's a reserve base.
Right.
People didn't have to travel for jobs because there was just so much work down in the south end. And because the base is only reserves, there's not as many people working on the base, not as many jobs. So it changes. And I think that's the biggest issue. We're all worried about transportation.
Right.
Dade County's worried about bringing a rail all the way to Homestead. Well, let's spend the money in the infrastructure, get some big companies like Amazon just opened up, right? That's 300 jobs. They need to find some other business tax breaks, the county.
Right.
That let big business open. And if there's 10,000 good jobs in Homestead, we wouldn't have a transportation problem.
I agree 100%. You hit the nail on the head, Grant. And that is what we're here to do. That is what we want. That is what we want to attract. And we want to let people know that there is great opportunity down in Homestead. You can bring your job. You have very high quality employees down there at every level. And we just need to let, some of these companies know that the investment can be made down there. We want to maybe kind of ease the restrictions on zoning and some of the, permitting processes that we have down there, just to kind of make it a bit more attractive for these companies to come down there.
It is tough. it's an hour away from the major airport, and that's why down the road, if they change some rulings on the Air Force base or the reserves base for cargo,
Right.
be great. Miami-Dade College, how many years has that been around? Quite a while.
Quite a while.
Well, not 40 years ago when you were born.
No,
down there.
It wasn't there, but they're a huge impact to our community as well. We are so proud to have them there. They are building a beautiful student center right across from City Hall. It's going to be a phenomenal
on the railroad track side.
Right across from City Hall, right adjacent to their current building, and it's going to have a feel where students can come and have a facility where they can kind of hang out and in between studies, right?
Do you speak Spanish?
I do.
Let me hear. I don't believe you.
Yo hablo español igual como todo el mundo habla.
Perfecto. Okay, I have a philosophy that's called the 3 Ps for somebody running for office. People move to cities because the police, the parks, and public schools.
Right.
So the parks, they're doing a good job right now.
Right. And they're spending some time to enhance the parks too.
That's the most important thing.
Right.
Connolly Park is Connolly? I call it Connolly, the football field. The baseball fields.
Conley.
Yeah. Okay. To see, I'm not right. And then you got Red Park. And they're
JD Reed.
JD Red, right. Excuse me, right, JD Red. How's that coming along? They're fixing that one up?
Councilwoman Avila and the Kiwanis and the Rotary and a lot of the civic organizations, they recently pulled some funds together so they can help the Little League youth have a softball league down there, which is great. And I commend Councilwoman Avila for doing that along with the organizations, because we need youth sports down there and people need to pay attention to them so that the parents have time to go out and get the kids off of the tablets and off of the phone and gaming, get them back out into the community, into the youth. So they're spending time. The city is now looking on how to enhance the facilities down there, have nice grass, have nice turf, get a good scoreboard. All of that stuff is happening at the parks.
Police department
has a great rate when it comes to, crime when compared to other cities. We are every year getting lower and lower in terms of crime. Homestead is a great place to live. We recently added body cameras, which was,
expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive, but the community called for it and they made it happen. And the cameras are there now. And that is a big check mark for our city, because when the community asks for something, the elected officials need to listen, and they need to somehow find a way to make it work.
Right. When people move to certain areas, they want good police, good parks, and good public schools. Even though your city doesn't control the schools, it's a Dade County. How the public schools and what does the cities do to help them?
Well,
your city,
public schools is fundamental. And I'll give you an example. When with the Homestead Air Reserve base down there, when people get transferred there, they want to know, specifically spouses, they want to know, where are my kids going to go to school? What type of employment is out there for military spouses, and what amenities are around there? So having a program where these people 90 days in advance can see all of this information, specifically on schools. What grade is the school? Is it a charter school? Is it a magnet program? Because a lot of times around other areas of the country, they may not know this information.
That is correct.
They may not know this information. So we, along with the Chamber of Commerce, we've got a great connection with school board member Luisa Santos, who's been on some of our
Homestead resident.
who's been on some of our military housing, on our military housing calls. Any of the information we need that pertains to schools to make it that much easier for people to know what's going on in our school system down south.
You brought up the question, South Dade Chamber, you're the chairman.
That's right.
How long is that term? And what has happened? And what are you going to?
It's a 1-year term, and it's a 1-year term, and it wasn't an easy. It's not an easy term because we're all going through a pandemic at the moment. So we want to promote small business. It's a huge It's a huge part of our community down there. And right now, during the time of this pandemic, people are having to make adjustments to their business. And the chamber wants to be that support. You know, if there's anything that these businesses need, we are there to provide that bridge when it comes to economics, when it comes to, you know, bridging other businesses with others, when it's telling the community to shop local. That is what we are advocating for. So part of what we're doing with the chamber is visiting all of these small businesses in the area and asking them, hey, are you guys okay? Do you need anything? What type of support do you need? We're here to support you. And we're doing these interviews, and we want them to voice these opinions so that we can let the world know, hey, people are struggling. They need assistance. Let's all band together and keep these businesses afloat.
Tommy, what's your webpage?
JulioForHomestead.com.
Okay, we got that. We're going to put that on there now. All right. The downtown of Homestead. What have they done different since the virus hit a year ago?
Downtown of Homestead, when they built Homestead Station, everyone is excited about this. We've got a new movie theater, bowling alley. We've got a parking garage because we had a parking problem in downtown. So this was everyone was extremely excited about having this. And then the pandemic hits, and all of a sudden it comes to a standstill. You know, we still have a lot of vacant space down there. So part of what we want to do is make sure that we're letting everyone know that there is space available down there. We want people to come. We want private investment down there. Not only do we want, you know, commercial investment, but we also want residential investment. We want the city to, you know, maybe consider easing some of the restrictions when it comes to zoning so that people would want to open a business in downtown Homestead. I think the downtown is essential for any city to be vibrant. You need a downtown.
We have a bunch of new cities in the last 20 years, and some cities have not found a downtown yet.
Right.
You have to have a downtown for the heart and beat of every community. All right. So you went from, you're still in real estate.
Yeah.
You got great experience as a leader, as a chairman. How does that fold into being a effective city council person?
Part of my, I'm also very engaged with the Miami Association of Realtors, and both, they've got a commercial side and they've got a residential side, which I have relationships with both. That is a very influential group of people, and I'm honored to be close to a lot of them, because that network allows me to expand and to get the message out of what we want and what we need down here in Homestead. So along with the Miami Association of Realtors, you know, we're also with the chamber going out and advocating with the elected officials on the county side. You know, there are venues, and there are beautiful venues out in the Redlands. And I don't know if you know, Grant, but Redlands is becoming, you know, a huge wedding destination for not only people in this area, in this country, but around the world. Around the world, people are coming to the Redlands to get married. So we want to continue that momentum to attract those types of people down here. So we've advocated heavily with, you know, the county to ease some of the restrictions on events, and it's been working because there's,
even though Redlands not part of Homestead, right, it is connected. You guys are right. One.
Correct.
People get all confused. Redland's separate, but it is connected, because without Homestead, Redland can't be effective, and without Redland, vice versa.
Right.
Okay, affordable housing.
I also sit on the Attainable and Workforce Housing for Florida Realtors. And this is where, you know, realtors from all across the state get together to talk about what is working in different parts of the state. And we all get ideas, and we find best practices that we could bring down to the community that you live in. So having access to that group of people really opens a lot of doors. It brings a lot of talent. And that is one of the things that we are working on now to present to the city, so they could say, hey, you know, we need some workforce housing down there. We need commercial investment, and we need residential investment, specifically on the west side of town, because the east side of town is kind of tapped out when it comes to residential.
I was just 2 weeks ago, is at the DQ Grill and Chill auto show.
Yes.
I just missed you. I understand.
I was there. It was good.
It was great. I couldn't get a shake. There was such a big line. But the east side near the hospital, it is booming.
It's booming.
And it's exciting. So as the chairman of the chamber, what have you learned from there, and what will pass on to the council? Because you've done so many things in such a short period of time during this virus.
So the chamber, you really have a great connection with the business community, and the things that is working and the things that are not working. And in terms of the business community, they want to see some of the restrictions eased when it comes to permitting. They want to be able to come to the city of Homestead. They want to expand, and they want it to be an easy process. So I think we have some work to be done on that side, and we are doing what we can to work closely with the city of Homestead and the management part, so that we can help ease some of those restrictions and make it easy. If you wanted to open a cafe in downtown Homestead, you've got to go through a pretty lengthy process. We want to make that process smooth and a lot faster, so that we can get the investment that we want down there.
Population. Are there more people living in Homestead now?
Absolutely. And I think it's going to continue to grow. We're the last frontier. Wherever someone wants to buy a house with a yard, it seems like Homestead is the only place you can do that.
At a reasonable price.
At a reasonable price. So I think our population is right at roughly, 79, 80,000 people. It's probably going to get
huge.
Yeah, it's probably going to continue to grow.
More after the census.
Right. And it's going to continue to grow, especially after I'm in office, because I'm doing everything I can to make our city the best place to live.
You have 3 kids. Where do they go to school?
My son goes to Bricks, which is I wouldn't say it's a daycare. It's a school right in the center of Homestead.
Okay.
It's an awesome school. My son lives in Washington. He is
your older son.
Yeah, older son lives in Washington.
He
owns a barbershop.
How old's your son?
He's 27.
And you get your youngest?
4.
Wow. And the one in between?
And my daughter, my stepdaughter, she is 22 years old.
Wow. All right. So you got 3 kids living from Washington to Homestead.
Yes.
All right. We're going to wrap this up because you got another show coming up to talk about baseball. So Homestead is, we say, the last frontier before you get to the Keys.
Right.
But it's a major part of our community. It is the brother or sister to the Redland.
Right.
Who happens to be the economic engine of Dade County now. Tourism is not, agriculture is. A lot of your farm trucks, the farm offices are in Homestead, correct?
Right.
Homestead, Florida City. People don't realize.
And I also think it's it opens up for a tremendous opportunity for agricultural tech. There's a lot of things that can be done in terms of technology. A lot of people are thinking of ways to, compete with what's going on with NAFTA and all that stuff. And, we've always, specifically the farmers of Homestead, have always gotten the bad end of the stick when it comes to
everything
competing. So I think it's a great opportunity for agricultural technology to explode down there in the Redlands. And I want to help, push that agenda along, because I think it's going to be big for the years to come.
Oh, absolutely. I think Homestead is rocking and rolling. It's exciting because I go to Redland, I go to Homestead. It's all convoluted because Florida City, people go, what's Florida City? It's a city, the home of Otis Wallace.
That's right. Otis is a great guy too.
He's a great guy.
He's awesome.
And my dear friend, Eugene Button Berry. Yeah. Eugene and I used to run Pop Warner football together in the 90s. So,
wow, Grant, you're home team, brother.
Oh, yeah. I'm a Razorback. I'm a Razorback.
Team.
You know what the Razorbacks are?
That's right, man.
We don't play that little Connolly football. They didn't have football last year. Did they, Connolly? I don't think so.
No.
But Homestead is an exciting community. I would love to have you back again.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to get a hold of you go to julioforhomestead.com.
That's right.
And it's exciting. And you have a lot of great things that you learn from the real estate. But more important, you learned a lot from the chairman.
Yeah.
How to lead.
And I got to tip my hat to Carrie Black. She is one of a kind. She pushes everybody to be better. than what they think they are. She pushes you to your potential. So a big hug and a big shout out to Carrie Black.
I want you to look at that camera in English and Spanish. Close us out. Go.
Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros hoy. Espero que me puedan apoyar para el concejal de Homestead. Quiero hacer buenas cosas en la ciudad de Homestead y necesito tu apoyo. Thank you all for spending some time with us. I appreciate your support. I could use your support. I want to make things great in Homestead, and thank you for being with us.